Great. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Boston University's College of Communication and our virtual admitted graduate student open house. I'm Lori Nichols, Assistant Dean of Graduate Affairs in COM, and on behalf of the Graduate Affairs team, thank you so much for tuning in. First, congratulations on your admission. It's been a very competitive year this year, and our admission committees think that you'll be a successful part of our graduate community. We hope that the presentations and live events we've set up for admitted students will help you get a sense of what it's like to be a grad student at the College of Communication, which we'll refer to throughout the presentation as COM, and to help you figure out that sense of fit between you and our graduate community. First, I'd like to introduce the Graduate Affairs team. The role of our office is to help COM graduate students across their entire time at BU, from the point of admission all the way through graduation. So I'll now hand it off to Kayla.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Ring. I'm the Director of Graduate Affairs here at the College of Communication.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jackie Cummings. I'm the Admission and Financial Aid Counselor for graduate students at the College of Communication. Congratulations again on your acceptance.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Bowen. I'm the Marketing and Communication Specialist for the Grad Affairs team.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lu He, and also pronounced He Lu in Chinese. I am the Academic Advisor for Grad Affairs Office at College of Communication. Welcome to join us.
Great. Thank you, team. Next, I'll briefly go over what will be covered in this presentation. We'll start out with a little bit about COM and Boston University. Next, we'll talk about student life, including activities and events, and working on campus. Then we'll discuss housing around Boston and transportation, both BU transportation and public transportation around Boston. And then we'll end with next steps, as well as how you can reach out to us with questions. So before we speak about COM specifically, I'd like to give you a general overview of BU as a whole, as well as some tidbits about COM. BU has over 33,000 students. That's approximately 16,500 undergraduate students, just fewer than 16,000 graduate students, and over 14,500 staff and faculty. There are 17 colleges and schools at BU, of which COM is one. BU stretches across 3 campuses, the Charles River campus, which is where we're located, plus the medical campus and the Fenway campus. We're a Research 1 institution, which means there's a very high volume of research happening across the university. Although BU has been around for over 180 years, COM is a bit younger, starting in 1947. COM is a much smaller community within BU. We have approximately 550 graduate students across our 11 graduate programs. And while you're attending a very large research university and all of the resources that it has to offer, you have the benefit of relatively small, intimate classroom settings with generally no more than 25 students in the largest graduate level class. In COM, we have research faculty with doctoral degrees in communication, as well as practitioners in the field who have careers in industry. This is just one aspect of what we think makes COM a great place to get a well-balanced education that will lead to successful careers in industry or academia. Speaking of jobs, the Times Higher Ed rankings put BU among the top universities in their global university employability rankings. There are over 407,000 living BU alumni, over 30,000 of whom are COM alumni. In the department presentations, you'll have a chance to learn more about what some of our COM alumni have been doing. And when you view our career services presentation, you'll hear more from Heather Fink, who's our Director of COM's Career Services, and how we support COM students in finding professional opportunities. And I will now pass this over to Kayla.
Thanks, Lori. So one of the best ways to take advantage of the full College of Communication BU experience is to participate in clubs and activities outside of your registered classes. The club's professional organizations and special events that are listed here are often student-driven and entirely student-run, and they're really intended to help you build a portfolio of work before you begin interning or working off campus full-time when you complete the program. To name a few that are listed on this slide, we have the Public Relations Student Society of America, or PRSSA. This is a professional networking opportunity We've also listed WTBU, COM student-run radio station, and the COM Graduate Student Council, the voice of COM master's and PhD students here within the College of Communication. This group organizes social and professional events for their classmates, such as alumni panels, bi-monthly coffee chats, and this fall apple picking and whale watching events. To join these groups or to learn more, you can visit COM's website, where you can find links to these clubs and organizations and also their social media accounts, so you can stay in touch with these events and clubs before you arrive on campus in the fall. Our virtual open house events also include panels to speak with current students, as well as links to get involved with our COM student ambassadors. And these are opportunities where you can have one-on-one conversations with students to find out how other currently enrolled COM students are staying involved on campus. We also have listed some of our study abroad opportunities. We put abroad in quotations because two of the opportunities are actually located within the United States in Los Angeles and Washington, DC, but are managed by BU's abroad office. If you want to learn more about these opportunities and see if your program specifically is eligible to participate and apply, you can email comgrad@bu.edu, and we'll be happy to help you and provide you with more information. One final point that I'll mention is that BU's part, one final point that I'll mention is that a big part of graduate school, rather, is building connections with your peers. Outside of COM, BU has over 500 clubs and organizations where you can connect with students with shared interests and start to build a community here at BU. There are intramural sports, religious and cultural organizations, performance and art groups, and community service opportunities, as well as many more. In addition, we also wanted to highlight the university gym. We call it FitRec. This offers classes in rock climbing, dance, swimming. There's even a class to learn how to sail on the Charles River. So in summary, there's a lot of ways to get involved, build a community, and stay healthy as a graduate student here at BU. Moving on, we've also included information regarding on-campus employment. All students are eligible to apply for assistantships and jobs on campus. There are teaching, grading positions, as well as research opportunities where students are working with faculty. There's also administrative positions, such as working with COM's Career Service Office. The statistics reflected here are include positions within COM, but there's also roles across BU. For example, I just mentioned the university gym that hires students every year. They hire students for administrative roles as well as marketing positions. There's also graduate resident positions for students who want to live and work on campus. Graduate students can work up to 20 hours per week, and stipends are dependent on the number of hours they work as well as the type of position that they hold. We regularly email students regarding openings that they can apply for. Many jobs become available over the summer and early fall, so don't be concerned if you don't have a position right now or into the early spring. We will continue to provide information about opportunities that you can apply for, and all students will have access to the university job board starting in August. I'll now pass to my colleague Lou, who will go over living in Boston.
Thanks, Kayla. Well, in this slide, as you see, we list several facts about Boston and want to try to explain to you why Boston is such a special city and why choosing Boston to do your master's program will be one of the best choices you made for yourself. Well, myself was an international student a few years ago in Boston. I would say Boston is truly a beautiful, a vibrant, historical, and artistic city in the United States. It is indeed a great place for students to study and live. Well, in greater Boston areas, we have over 35 colleges and universities. Students can easily find a way to network with young professionals and make friends with their peers from all over the world. Well, as the largest city in New England, Boston has a lot of firsts. It constructed the first public park, Boston Common, which locates in the center of downtown Boston, the first public school, Boston Latin School, and the first subway station in the United States, often known as the Tremont Street subway. Well, I would say Boston is a very green and very walkable city, maybe one of the most walkable cities in the United States so far as I know. From the original green space like Esplanade on the Charles River, the Back Bay Fence, the Boston Common, to the newer places like the 50-acre Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy Greenway, all Boston neighborhoods offer the outdoor activities and opportunities for fresh air and exercise without having to leave for the city limits. In 2017, Boston was ranked 5th in the world for innovation. The city is really vibrant for the innovative factors like cultural assets, education centers, transportations, and of course, the world-renowned research institutions like Harvard, MIT, and Tufts. This also explains why thousands of digital startups and entrepreneurs have set up their operations here in Boston. Well, because of this great working environment, Boston is really a fantastic place for recent grad students to find a job. The city offers a lot of opportunities to network with professionals across different industries like finance, healthcare, higher tech, higher education, communication, and arts. And with more than 250,000 college students here, Boston is full of young people aged between 20 and 29. For students majoring in communication particularly, BU's urban campus is so close to Boston's financial center, where different communication agencies, financial institutions, consulting corporations are located in. So this is a great opportunity to network and learn from the best. Finally, if you love sports and don't miss Boston, no matter which sports you love, you could always find your way here in Boston. Especially, you can experience the excitement at legendary Fenway Park when a Red Sox Nation cheers on their home team. Well, BU Urban Campus located just in the corner of the Fenway Park. So during the season, you could easily just call your friends and walk through BU Charles River campus to watch a Red Sox game, which I believe you could never ever forget about it. So this is the city of Boston, and we're waiting for you to explore by yourself. Now let me pass to my colleague Christy to tell you more about living in Boston. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou. Living in Boston is one of the most fun things to talk about because it really is just such an incredible city. So on this slide, I'll review a few logistics and just different things to consider when it's time to start actively looking for and securing housing here. So if you look over to the left of the screen, you'll see a list of popular nearby neighborhoods. You'll hear the phrase Greater Boston area a lot when you're looking at going to different events and different things in Boston. That's a broad term. So while people do commute from varying distances, we want to help you out with your search and recommend some more popular neighborhoods that are close to campus or most of our comm grad students choose to live. So up first, the Allston-Brighton area is just off of BU's West Campus. It's essentially a mecca for college students. Lots of more affordable apartments, food and convenience stores, and lots of local restaurants to try. Then we have the Fenway-Kenmore area, which is just off of BU's East Campus. So it doesn't get more walkable than that if you're looking at coming to the College of Communication on a daily basis. Then we have Brookline, which varies from cute, more downtown style areas like Coolidge Corner and Washington Square to some more suburban areas like Brookline Village. Brookline is just off of BU's South Campus. And if you're looking for a mixture of downtown and historical surroundings, we'd recommend checking out Cambridge, which is just across the Charles River. It's not as easy as a walk as the previous neighborhoods, but it's a very short commute option if you're looking at using public transportation, which we'll discuss in another slide or two. And then these last four areas listed here, Somerville, Jamaica Plain, which you'll hear referred to as JP, South Boston and Dorchester are also relatively popular areas that our grad students choose to live in. You can refer to the map here to see where they're situated to in relation to campus. Again, using public transportation, biking, or driving, these are great options if you're looking to pay a little bit less for a little bit more space. What it really comes down to as far as neighborhoods is what you value more, being closer to campus or having more housing style options and square footage in your home. And then the link at the bottom of that text section on the left, that'll just bring you to a page where you can explore some different neighborhoods in Boston and get a better sense of like what the right fit is for you as far as specific neighborhoods. So another thing to consider when you're deciding what the right housing situation is for you is how many roommates you're comfortable living with and how much you want to spend per month. So if you look over to that how much to budget section, you'll see a general breakdown of about what you can expect to spend per month in different housing arrangements. The general rule of thumb is more roommates equals less money per bedroom, but this is also very dependent on the neighborhood that you're looking at. So a 2-bedroom in Fenway, which is again just off of BU's East Campus will almost always be notably more expensive than a 2-bedroom in, say, Alston off of BU's West Campus. And different amenities like air conditioning, immediate train access, and in-unit laundry is also going to affect the monthly cost. So just all different things to ask realtors about and landlords about when you're doing your shopping. And then we also have a note on here explaining how much money you should expect to pay up front when you're going to sign the lease. So because Boston is such a college town and the school year kicks off in September, that makes September 1st the busiest moving day and the most popular lease start date in town, like literally. Most landlords will require 3 months rent when you go to sign the lease. So that covers the first month of rent, a separate security deposit, and last month's rent. That's not true for every apartment, but it's a good rule of thumb to just have that 3 months worth of rent on hand when you go to sign the lease. And then finally, in the upper right corner, you'll see a robust list of housing resources available for you to explore and just kind of understand what your options are as a BU graduate student. I always like to point out that the vast majority of our grad students do choose to live off campus. Frankly, there are more apartments available off campus than on, and you have more room to explore in terms of the size and the type of space that matches your needs and budget. But if you want to see what the on-campus housing spaces are like, we have links to those resources here, including things like the Fisk House and residential assistant opportunities. I'll also give a quick shout out to the COM roommate list, because this is something that I personally attend to over the course of the spring and summer months as our accepted COM grad students accept their offers. So I'll share a form that incoming COM grad students can fill out if you're interested in living with another incoming COM graduate student. You'll include information like where you want to live, how much you're looking to spend, what program you're in, the level of social activity you want to have in your home, and different stuff like that. It's a great way to kind of pre-screen potential roommates with the added bonus of having a commuting buddy, since you'll both be coming here to COM. We have multiple success stories with this every year, so it's just a nice option if you want to partner throughout the whole apartment hunting process. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jackie to discuss transportation.
Thanks, Christy. So now that Lou and Christy have talked a little bit about living in Boston, I'm just going to dive deeper and talk about transportation and ways to get around the city. As Lou mentioned, Boston is an extremely walkable city. So sometimes when the weather's nice, you might just find that walking is your best bet to get from classes to your apartment, to the grocery store, to really wherever you need to go. When that's not the case, or when the weather's not so great, or when you just maybe need to get somewhere a little bit faster, Boston does have a very reliable and robust public transportation system called the MBTA. The MBTA includes a combination of buses, above ground trains, and underground trains. You'll often hear the MBTA referred to as the T. In particular, a common line for BU students is the Green Line, or the B or Boston College Line. This line of the MBTA runs all the way from downtown Boston into Allston Brighton. So it does also run the full length of BU's campus. So that's a very common way for our students to get around. On this slide, we do have mbta.com listed. This is a great resource to kind of see all of the maps and train stops around the city. So I definitely recommend that when you're looking for apartments, not only looking at the resources Christy provided, but also taking a look at the subway maps just to see how close your apartment is to a bus stop or a T stop, to see how you can plan your commute accordingly. And then BU does offer a discounted semester pass for both trains and buses. So this can be a good option for students that are planning to use the T as their primary mode of transportation. So we've included some resources there on the slide about that. We've also listed 2 apps here. So Proximate app and Transit app. These could be helpful to download. They'll show you live views and real-time schedules for both the buses and trains. In general, I think usually a train on the Green Line will come every like 15 to 20 minutes, but it can definitely sometimes be longer or shorter. So you can use these apps to help you plan your commute a little bit more exact. And then beyond walking and public transportation, there are a few other resources to consider. We don't recommend bringing a car to campus in your first semester unless you absolutely need to. But if you find that you have a car and you want to bring it and you work something out with your apartment and know you have a parking spot or something like that, BU does offer commuter day parking permits that students are able to purchase through the Parking and Transportation Office. We also have a free shuttle bus for BU students called the BU Bus. And this runs 3 loops around campus, and it can bring students around the Charles River campus, where the College of Communication is located, as well as the medical campus, which is located in the south end of Boston. And finally, BU has a partnership with Blue Bikes and Zipcar, and helps provide discounted memberships to students. So really, regardless of your preference on how to get around, you'll be able to figure something out, and BU has the resources to help you do that. So I think that's it for us to talk a little bit more about Boston and what to expect in terms of living here in the city, and just a little bit more about the College of Communication. We also just wanted to provide some next steps as you consider your acceptance and your options and decide whether or not you plan to join us in the fall, which we really hope you do. So first would be to accept your offer of admission. Your deadline to do so would be listed in your acceptance letter. We also suggest starting to connect with your professors, reach out with them with any questions that you have. You can also reach out to us, and we're so happy to talk to you and help you navigate this process. And then upcoming this summer, just some things to start thinking about. You can start, as soon as you're able to, looking for housing using some of those resources that Christy provided. You can set up your BU email so you can make sure that you're not missing any important communication from our office or Boston University. If you're an international student, we'll get you started on the process of applying for I-20 so that you can get your visa all set in time to join us in the fall. And we also suggest keeping an eye on your personal accepted student site. We'll have a checklist there with next steps through the summer that we'll continue to update. So be mindful of that and always check there to see for any updates. And then finally, we just want to make sure that we provide our contact information. Again, we're really happy to answer any questions that you have. You can always reach us at our email address, which is listed here. It's comgrad@bu.edu. You can also feel free to give us a call, and we really look forward to seeing you this fall.